welcome everybody to the third episode of JV Campfire Stories. And today we are talking about the Candy Lady Killer. Now, before we get started on this, I want to give a big shout out to Helen Lopez. She is the one who suggested this. I'd actually never heard this story before, so it was actually really fun looking this one up. The other two stories I'd done, obviously I'd heard them before. I had never heard this one before, so this one was fun to research since I'd never heard it before. So, let's talk about it. Clara Crane is known as the Candy Lady Killer. She was born in 1871 and passed away, well, we don't know when she passed away. Now, Clara Crane married very young to an older gentleman. His name was Leonard Gilbert Crane. And they had a small farm outside of the town of Terrell, Texas. I've actually been there. I actually know exactly where this story takes place. Now, the Cranes had a little girl, and her name was Marcella. But unfortunately, when Marcella was only 5 years old, she was killed in a farming accident. What was the farming accident? I don't know. I tried looking it up, but there were so many different stories to that. I don't know what the true one is. So you can look that up for yourself and decide which one you think is right. But Clara come to find out that Leonard had been drinking when this occurred and was not paying attention to her. And this ate away at Clara for over 2 years until finally she broke in 1895 when she poisoned some of Leonard's favorite candies, which are caramel candies, which I don't blame him. They're delicious. But he ended up dying as a result of her poisoning him. And the next day, the neighbors came to visit. When they got there, they found Clara acting very strange. She seemed very shaken up. So they called the sheriff. And the sheriff, Fred Springer, showed up. And when he showed up, she got very aggressive towards him. And was just very angry towards him, and so he ended up having to take her into custody. Can y'all hear the coyotes? Probably not. Alright, so when they discovered the body of Leonard, they put Clara on trial for first-degree murder. But during the trial, Clara claimed insanity. And her claim for insanity worked, and she was sent to the North Texas Lunatic Asylum, which is now known as the Terrell State Hospital. And when Clara was in the hospital, she had fashioned a doll out of torn bed sheets. And she named this little doll Marcy, after her daughter Marcelle. And the staff would say that she would talk to this thing and sing to it like it was alive. In 1899, due to overcrowding, Clara was set to be set free. After only 4 years in the lunatic asylum, they were going to set her free. And when she found this out, she wrote this letter to her sister. Dearest Angie, I am elated. I have been informed by Dr. Matthews that Marcy and I will be returning home in less than 3 weeks. As you can imagine, Marcy can barely contain her excitement. Every night she asks, "Is tomorrow the day when we go home, Mother?" Very soon I will be able to tell her yes. Our stay here has been somewhat of a trial, though I have been grateful to the doctor and his staff in their dedication to our treatment and recovery. Leonard's death had put us in such a severe state of melancholy that I feared we would never escape. These past few years have been more difficult than any other in my life, and my dear Marcella, after all that she has had to endure, has become my strength, my flame of hope. Yeah, that letter is pretty creepy. So, when she was finally released, she just disappears. Nobody knows what happened to her. She just vanished. But starting in 1903 up until 1913, children of Terrell, Texas would just start to disappear. They would vanish at night. And when the sheriff started to investigate these disappearances, he would also disappear. And they would later find his body in a ditch with a fork shoved in his eye and his pockets full of candy. Plus, there was a farmer that was working in the fields, and he happened upon a candy wrapper. And when he opened this candy wrapper, he found it was filled with children's teeth. Now, when the children of Terrell, Texas started getting bigger and older, they had a secret they wanted to tell. And that secret was that when they were younger, they would sometimes wake up and find candy on their windowsill with a little note that said, "Can you come out and play?" Signed from the Candy Lady. Now they said they never told anybody because they were afraid if they told, then she might stop bringing them candy. So, what do you think? The case was never solved, and as I said from the beginning, Clara Crane was never heard from again. Nobody knows what happened to her. Nobody knows when she passed away. Her life and disappearance was a complete mystery. So what do you think happened to her? That's a good story, huh? I really like that one. Again, shout out to Helen Lopez for giving me that idea. And this time I went without any background music. You know, I was told in my last one people really wanted to hear the sounds of nature as I told the story. So I went with that route. Tell me what you think. Do you like it better with the music, or do you like it better with just the sounds of nature? You let me know. And of course, if you have any ideas on the story, let me know in the comments below. If you have an idea for a future story, please let me know down in the comments. I said this one was a lot of fun. I'd never heard this one before. Researching this one was a lot of fun. It's a little shorter than the ones I normally do, but that's alright. As long as it's a good story, I don't care if it's a little shorter. If not, I have a few tucked away that I can do for the next ones, but I hope somebody's got a good story for me to research. But that is it for this story. I will catch you next time. Never forget, Jesus loves you. Genesis 9:3. Peace, everybody.